All right. So you got a German Shepherd puppy, correct, Denise?
Right.
Tell me about Shiloh. Anything you're struggling with?
Lots.
Okay.
She is biting constantly.
Yep.
She thinks I'm the chew toy. She bites my feet. If I try to put a leash on her, she bites my hands.
Mm-hmm.
If I walk, she'll grab my pants.
Mm.
She's torn holes in my jackets,
Okay.
jumping and biting all the time.
Here. And how old is she?
3 months.
3 months. Okay. So that's pretty typical behavior. Okay. And I'll go over that real quickly. I'm going to send you an email. I'll send both you and Erin an email. I think the easiest way to correct her would be through the use of a bonker. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Are you familiar with that, Erin?
Never heard of it.
Okay. So I just started using this tool for clients to correct their dogs inside because I know your mother had purchased an e-collar, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And
She has the same e-collar that we got, but then after I talked to you, she's not using it. You never used it on her, right, Mom?
Nope. But now I got the pinchy collar on her.
Oh, and how does she respond to the pinch collar when you put it on her?
When she goes for a walk, she's absolutely perfect. She heals everything. And in the house, I keep it on her with a leash so I can grab the leash and try to correct her. But it's like she gets mad and comes right back at me.
Mom, you want to move your camera down a little bit? Like, just move your screen down a little. There you go. Okay. There, perfect. Okay.
So I'm going to cover this tool by tool,
Okay.
and you utilize what works best for you. Okay. So the good thing is your puppy's only 3 months. If you see anything that seems kind of like backlash, or the dog or the puppy looking as if it's becoming aggressive to you,
Mm-hmm.
don't fret. Okay.
Okay.
It's only 3 months. This is not going to make your dog aggressive towards you unless there's already some kind of genetic issue. Okay. So when you're trying to correct your puppy, like with the pinch collar, you said like she comes at you, correct?
Yep.
There could be a couple of things there. Without me seeing it, it's hard to say whether or not she's really coming towards you or redirecting the discomfort. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll talk about the bonker, then I'll talk about the prong collar, and then I'll talk about the e-collar. Okay.
Okay.
So with the bonker, it's a correctional tool, much like your pinch collar. So like I was raised old school, I was spanked. And it's essentially trying to find the, method of disciplining your dog similar to human spanking that's going to register to them, that they're going to learn from and listen to, right?
Okay.
So the bonker, the reason why I use that for puppies is typically most dog owners don't want to be physical, or they don't want to harm the relationship with their puppy. They don't want to create fear, things like that.
Yep.
But when you look at dogs and how they discipline each other, they bite each other, right? So even if you use a pinch collar, even when you use the bonker, like, you will never match the damage of a dog bite unless you like use a really, like a knife or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bonker is simply a rolled up towel. Okay, you take a towel, you can take a hand towel, you roll it up, and then into like a cylinder shape, and you can use rubber bands or hair bands to keep it in that shape. Okay, so it's firm but soft, and you literally bonk the dog with it. Okay, so like let's say you're sitting on your couch and you see Shiloh chewing on the kitchen chair, you can throw the bonker, or you can get closer and like whack her with it, essentially.
Yep.
But it's a physical deterrent to teach her not to do something. Okay, and I'm going to send you and Erin 3 links, 3 videos for you to watch, so it makes more sense. Okay.
Okay.
And in the video, the trainer talks about how to make one, how it's used, and then there's one where you see the trainer actually using it, so you get a very concise beginning to end application of the bonker. Okay.
Okay.
So this tool can be used for anything you don't like chewing, barking, biting, jumping, counter surfing. If you're trying to eat food and she's jumping at you, you can use this one tool to correct everything.
Okay.
We use it for behavior stuff. If you said Shiloh sit and she did not sit, you wouldn't whack her with the bonker. Okay, that's obedience. So I want you to forget about obedience. You're just worried about behavior right now.
Okay.
Questions so far?
No?
Okay. So it's a very simple tool. You don't have to use anything fancy. I know with puppies, they're concerned if their puppy is so big that they don't want to use a big old towel. Again,
demonstration.
Demonstrated on. I did not need to be demonstrated on.
So, yes, that would be. And what I usually suggest as well is that people make more than one, especially if you have puppies. Because with the puppy, let's say you try to correct Shiloh, they might in the beginning direct towards it like it's a toy.
Yep.
And they pick up the towel and they're running around with it. So if you have multiple bonkers, you just keep going until you make it not a game. Because that's the thing, the dog gets it. They get the correction. They're like, what is that? Oh, here's this towel. They pick it up. They're running around with it. So then you have to keep correcting with multiple bonkers until they go, crap, this isn't a game anymore.
Okay.
Okay, you make it not a game. So it's like it's literally like when I talk about training puppies and dogs, I always use my mom as a reference because my mom was very strict. And there were those times when she'd try to spank me and I'd laugh. And she kept spanking me until it became not fun anymore. It's the same kind of concept. So that's the first one, is the bonker. Okay. The next one is, of course, your pinch collar. And how long have you been applying the pinch collar for?
This is going on a week.
Going on a week. Okay. When you first put it on her, what did she did she shriek? Did she twirl around? Did she just did it matter?
She kind of cried at first, and now she itches constantly when it's on. She scratches at it because I leave it on her all day because I can't control her if I can't get a hold of her.
Right. Okay, and that's fine. Right. Just when she's unattended, you'd want to remove it. Okay.
Yep, I do at night. Yeah.
Okay. So, are you leaving her with a long leash during, if she's home and she's got the collar? Is it like the long leash dragging, or do you just grab the chain?
No, it's a leash that drags, so I can step on it to stop her.
Good. That's perfectly fine. When you go to correct her, do you find that she tries to run away or anything like that, or does she let you do what you need to do?
No, she's, like I said, she almost comes right back at me, like she gets mad at me.
Okay, so you're approaching the leash.
Yep.
And essentially tied together that when you grab the leash, you're going to correct her. So now she's coming at you.
Yep.
Okay. So what she's doing here is she's essentially correcting you for trying to correct her. Okay. That's what that is. And your puppy's 3 months, right?
Yep.
Okay. Because this happens as young as 2 months, as young as 3 to 4 weeks within the litter. Okay. When people get puppies, just a quick tangent, and you're doing fine, Denise, when they get a 2-month-old puppy, most people's thought process is, I cannot correct this puppy because they don't know what's going on. And that is wrong. Okay. Right. An infant child has no motor skills. Right. So for instance, one of my cousins, when they were a baby, pulled out my aunt's earring and tore her earlobe. Right. She was very angry, but she couldn't spank the baby because the baby has no motor skills.
Right.
There was no intent to do harm. With puppies, at the age of 3 to 4 weeks, they already start to learn what they can and can't do, and they correct each other, and their mother will correct them as well, or the adult dogs, if you will, to teach them what's right and wrong, or their version of what's acceptable and not acceptable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when owners get their 2-month-old puppies and they don't correct them for a long time, they're getting away with all this stuff with no consequence, right? And now in your case, you have a puppy that you are correcting. And in response, your puppy's going, no, you can't correct me. Yeah, it happens as very young. Yeah. So
I'm glad to hear that. I thought I'd ruined her already.
No. So you would ruin her if you let her win those arguments. If you go to correct her, and she corrects you and you back away, that will quote unquote ruin her because she's learning she's winning. She can't win.
Okay.
Bully you. Okay. So what we would do here is whenever I go to correct the dog, I always anticipate protest or backlash. Okay.
Okay.
Most people's thought process is it's my dog, I can do whatever I want with it. It doesn't work that way. Your dog is a living, breathing creature that has boundaries and rules around themselves, right, in their personal space, much like we do as people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to correct the puppy and I do so, and that puppy comes back at me, well, then I correct them for trying to correct me. And it becomes this back and forth conversation. Okay. So you have a couple of options. If you go to grab your leash and Shiloh comes to correct you, if you have your bonkers, now you have another tool to correct her that doesn't require the collar itself.
Okay.
Right? So even if you don't have the leash in your hand, if you go to reach for it and she goes, right? Nope, boom. Let's try that again. You go to pick up the leash, nope, boom. Another one, right? Until you pick up that leash and you might see her go like this, right? She's gonna look scared, she's gonna look fearful. Don't worry about that, okay? It's caution. In order for a dog to stop a behavior, you have to see caution first, okay? So when you go to grab the leash, Shiloh, if she gives you this response, in my book, it's good because it means you prove the point. You pick up the leash, nothing happens. Then Shiloh goes, oh, I didn't charge at her when she went to pick up the leash. And when I did charge at her, I got bonked by this towel. I didn't like that. Okay, so all I have to do is not talk back. Fine, I won't do that then. Just like a kid, okay? And when you do this, you want to make sure you're not angry. I don't want you to yell. I don't want you to be, frustrated or anything like that. You want to do this from the get-go. Most people give the puppy the opportunity to be a good dog. And they go, please don't charge at me when I pick up your leash because I don't want to correct you. No, just correct the dog, okay? Because when you give your dogs more opportunities to be a good dog, you're allowing more opportunity for them to piss you off, right?
Yep.
So I go, if I already know when I pick up that leash, Shiloh's going to come at me, right away, I'm already coming with those bonkers, right away, okay? To get that point across from the get-go. So then Shiloh goes, all right, when I try to, come at mom, she's not playing. There's no opportunity. There's no gray area. It's either I do it or I don't do it. Very simple.
Okay.
Now, let's say, because you may forget, this happens, you go for the leash, you forget to bring your bonker. Shiloh now comes at you, right? I continue with what I'm doing. If it's a 3-month-old puppy, if I go to pick up the leash and she charges at me, I get the leash anyways. Okay. And maybe she jumps and I might just like block her with my arm so I can grab the leash. And then I'll shorten the leash to where I have it higher. So if the leash is clipped here, I grab it close. Okay. So the closer you are to the collar, the more immediate control you would have on Shiloh. People tend to grab the leash from the handle. So then they're like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You give yourself more leverage by grabbing closer to the collar. Okay? You can just hold her there away from you for a little bit. You're not hanging her, just holding her, pulling her away. And you're going to just not say anything. And you'll hear her most like, rah, 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 right? All this barking. And all of a sudden, she's going to settle. And then you relax. Okay, so she's thrown a temper tantrum. You didn't let her get away with it. You keep her up a little bit so that she can't, because dogs direct themselves with their front legs. So if all 4 paws are on the ground, she's going to come at you, right? So you can pick her up to where the front paws are off. You're just not hanging her. You're just immobilizing her a little bit, keeping her away from you. Let her settle. Then relax your leash. The relaxation is very important. So with your prong collar, right? It closes. If you keep it like this and you never let it go, Shiloh doesn't know what was wrong or right, right? So as Shiloh's throwing a fit, right, you're keeping it like this, and then finally she settles, it goes away. So then she goes, oh, when I was being a brat, this was happening. I didn't like it. When I relaxed, it went away. Oh, okay. Don't be a brat.
Okay.
So there has to be very clear black and white communication. So I'm assuming you've used a prong collar before, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then once she settles, you know, you can do what you're going to do with her if it's were to move her or whatever. If she continues to try to correct you, this shouldn't take more than, I've had a dog throw a fit for about 15 minutes. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea. It typically lasts about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, if not quicker, quicker than that. Okay, and essentially, once she starts learning that these tantrums or these attacks to you aren't getting her anywhere, you'll start to see her opt for other behaviors. Okay, and the most I'm anticipating you're probably going to see her kind of just back away from you like this, and that is good. Okay. Someone might tell you, no, your dog is getting scared of you. No, they're showing caution. Okay. If she's not cautious of you and what's going to happen, you're going to keep getting this puppy that's going to get bigger and it's going to keep confronting you and quote unquote attacking you, and it's going to get worse. Okay. So I always focus on getting the dog's respect or the puppy's respect first. I'll be their buddy later.
Okay. No, and see, that's what I've been doing lately. If I get her down and then I start talking to her nice and petting her, and then she'll relax a little bit, but yet she's still going after my hands to bite me.
Correct. Then you'd correct her again.
Yeah. Okay.
So and this is the confusing part. The most popular form of dog training really, what's the word, encourages good.
Yeah.
That energy creates this, right?
Right.
That energy becomes this.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you do your corrections, you just do your correction, you do not praise.
Okay.
Okay? Because now you're countering yourself. You're saying, don't bite my hands, be calm, but then you're saying you're such a good puppy.
Yep.
And then it's a loop. Okay? I'm not saying you can't do that, but I always go time and place, right?
Okay.
So like dogs learn by association, much like children. If my mom said, we're going to church, right? Most kids are like, quiet down. If my mom said we're going to Disneyland, what? Right? A lot of energy, a lot of excitement, association.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I tell my clients, especially with their puppies, I prefer no playing inside the home. That's my general rule. Okay. If you have a yard, perfect. You can play outside. Right? Much like with kids. No running around the house, no baseball in the house. You go to the park, go do that stuff over there. Right? So now you're creating like a mental association. So when she's in the house, she's going to opt to be calm because you're not allowing these behaviors. And when she's out in the yard, she's going to, run around, do her zoomies, her puppy thing, because it's in place.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say you want to have the rule of, I would like to let my puppy play at times in the home. You can, but you start it, not your puppy. Okay. So typically the puppy will run up to the owner with the toy and the owner will take the toy and throw it. The puppy essentially just told the owner, play with me, and the owner did it. Right. Now we're creating a habit. Next thing you know, your puppy or your dog is bringing you toys all day. And when you don't play with them, they bark at you. Right? So they're so used to you giving into that behavior. So instead, if they bring me a toy, I'll ignore them. If they escalate and then they start to whine or bark or like push the toy into you, then you correct them. All right, you bonk them or you use your pinch collar, whatever tool you're using, you apply a correction. What I'm teaching the puppy or the dog is, you don't tell me when we're going to play. I'll come get you when I'm ready. Right? So this way, if I do play with the dog in the house, the dog won't come to me. The dog will wait for me to go to them.
Okay.
So then your dog never goes to that extent without you. Right? They won't just think one day, like, let me get up and see if mom will play with me today. Right? Because it's always been, nope, not going to happen. And if you try it, I'm going to correct you. Right? It's very black and white. And it's strict as well. And dogs are strict. Dogs, if you watch them, each dog has their kind of own individual, rules and boundaries. And if one dog is sleeping on their bed and they don't like to be bothered, any dog that approaches, they'll just snap at them. Right? And they might let one dog, they might make an exception and say, like, you can come into my personal space, but every other dog is not allowed. And that is very concise, is very black and white. Okay? So what I always suggest to owners is make a list, of stuff that your puppy does, what you don't like. And so, like, let's say, for instance, there's the play. My suggestion is no play in the home, only playing outside in the yard, or if you have access to one. If you don't have access, a lot of my clients will pick a room in the house where they'll take their puppy to play, but everywhere else there's no play. Right? So that they at least created the association outside of the immediate living space, or the living room or the bedroom or something like that. Right? Okay. So that's an option. It's always on your terms. You're always correcting when the puppy tries to start playing with you, if you don't want to create a nuisance. And then, like, let's say, add an example, like being on the furniture. Some of my clients don't want the dog on the furniture, period. Then I tell them, anytime your dog or puppy tries to even jump on the furniture, correct them. You never let them on the furniture. Easy, right? Yeah. Others don't care. Then I go, cool, you don't care? Then don't correct the dog. And then others want both. They want the dog on the furniture when they invite them, but they don't want them to jump up whenever they feel like it. So then I'll tell them, whenever you see your dog trying to access or jump on the couch of their own choice, correct them. But then you have to teach them the word up or on or couch or whatever. But then you'd also have to teach them the word off, which means now you're not allowed on the couch anymore. Okay?
Okay.
So you can have whatever you want. You just have to pick your approach and then stick with it. If you decide to change it, it's okay, but don't be one way one day and then one way another day. You can't say, yes, you can be on the couch today and then no tomorrow, because then it's going to get confusing. Okay? Questions?
No, this Bonker thing sounds like a savior here. And another thing I'm having trouble with her is she keeps going to the bathroom in the house.
Okay.
I have never seen a puppy that drinks so much water, and she's peeing all the time. Yet at night, I can put her to bed at 7. This morning, she got up at 5:30. She doesn't pee in the kennel at all, but in the house, she does. I take her outside right away. Every time she drinks, I take her out. Every time she eats, I take her out. But she's still peeing in the house.
Okay. So before we jump to potty training,
okay.
Do you feel like you have a good understanding of the Bonker and the Prong?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one question real quick, Jesse.
Yeah.
You had said that the thing about playing, like if a dog, like, because they're puppies, right? So like if Shiloh takes a toy herself and goes and chews on it on the carpet by herself, is that considered playing in the house, or no, she can do that?
That's technically playing, right? Now, okay. I go by energy as well.
Okay.
If she has her toy and she's just gnawing on it, tearing it apart, but it's like kind of, low-key energy.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay.
Now, let's say Shiloh gets that toy and starts to zoom around the house.
Yeah.
I suggest stopping that behavior.
Okay.
Because if we want to think future, she becomes a 90 to 100-pound German Shepherd.
Yep.
If she does that when she's older, she's going to break stuff.
Yep.
And I had a client, their dog broke they had like a 50-something inch TV.
Yeah.
And it was cute when it was a puppy, but then he grew up to a big old dog and knocked it down, and there was a couple $1,000s. So,
Yeah.
So you can, the main thing I care about is when it's involving the humans.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a problem where the dog just wants more and more attention.
Okay.
And I give like puppies bones, antlers, bully sticks, whatever, to chew on. Which reminds me, if you have any toys, I do recommend you keep all these things put away. Okay, so that when you notice Shiloh becoming a brat and like looking like she's bored, if you have like a bin of toys, I will take. Is that?
That's our baby that we've spoiled. That's telling us he wants to play. He's literally telling us he wants to play. So don't listen to us, Mom. Listen to him. It's embarrassing.
I keep all the toys put away. And then when you notice Shiloh being bored or like looking like she needs something to do, I'll grab the bin, pull out 3 random toys, and put them on the ground. And then when she walks away from them, put them away again. So that this way, there's gonna be much more value. People tend to keep toys out all the time.
Yep.
And then the dog gets bored of them. But then when they find your shoe, they chew on your shoe. Because you keep your things put away. So she's like, oh. And also, if she's got your shoe, chances are you're interacting with her. Shiloh, give me my shoe back.
Yep.
She's getting something from you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I like to keep all toys, bones, antlers, all these things put away. When she looks like she's bored or needs something to do, bring out a random number of toys, bring them on the ground, and then as soon as you see her look bored of them, I just immediately put them away. Okay? And then also for chewing, antlers, bones, bully sticks, anything that the dog that can actually ingest, or the puppy, I prefer to use. I don't like plastic bones. You don't want to use raw hides. Raw hides are not safe. The dog can choke on them. And whenever she looks like she needs to chew something, I'll give her one of those and I'll swap them out. Okay. And I like things that they can ingest because they get something from it. Whereas with plastic bones, it's hit or miss. And even if if they like it, they're not supposed to be eating plastic.
Yeah.
Or Kong with peanut butter is usually pretty good too. So these are all things that I have to occupy the puppy if they ever need something to do. Because I give some leeway because it is a puppy, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you can't put rules and caps on what she's allowed to do and not what she can and can't do. Okay?
I think that's what I've done wrong too. I've got a whole basket of toys. She'll empty the whole thing and they're all over the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you can tell she's not interested in some, but if I put them back in the basket, she's over there taking them all right back out.
Yep.
So that's a good idea.
I put these things away. She can't have access to them. You're the
Okay.
one that controls all these things.
All right. Good.
Okay. So now moving to the potty training. What food is she on?
I've got her on blue for the soft food, and then I've got her on chicken noodle soup for the hard food. And when she gets bigger, I'm going to put her on Beyond. I like Beyond. It's all grain-free and stuff like that.
Okay, the chicken noodle soup, what brand is that?
That's the brand of it. It's called chicken noodle soup. Just like those. Yeah, it's just like chicken noodle soup for the school, those books and stuff. It's the same name.
Where do you find this stuff?
On the internet. I can't go anywhere, so I ordered off of Amazon.
Chicken noodle soup dog food.
Yes.
Okay.
And you say she drinks a lot of water.
Yes.
And the consistency is kibble of that brand?
Yeah, it's hard food.
Do you does it have a label?
Yeah, it does.
Do you mind grabbing one real quick and telling me the ingredients?
I found it, Jesse. It's chicken, turkey, chicken meal, turkey meal, cracked pear barley. There's a lot of grain in here. Whole grain, brown rice, peas, oatmeal. Is this the one she's getting? This is all.
And if that's a kibble that you're looking at,
Yeah.
That's the dry stuff.
what's the protein percentage?
Mom, well, can you go get your bag, Mom? Because which one do you have actually? This is all. It really is chicken soup for the soul, like brand. They sell it on Chewy, I guess.
That's funny.
I thought she was actually making dog chicken noodle soup.
No,
Yeah.
I knew she wasn't doing that, like because she told me she got her puppy food. But I just think it's funny that everybody's making dog food now.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it all over the place.
Okay, here's.
Okay. It should tell you the protein percentage. It should be like in a little white box.
Yep. 27.0.
Okay. So when she has her pee accidents in the house, is it clear or yellow?
It's yellow.
Always yellow?
Yes.
So just as FYI, if Shiloh ever pees and you clean it up and it's clear or light yellow, that's
Okay.
overhydration.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason why I'd asked about the food is because there's some brands of food that dehydrate dogs,
Mm.
so they drink more water, right? It's usually the brands that do their protein percentage is usually 30 to 33% and higher. Yours is around the typical range. It's usually about 24 to 27%. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't think it's your food plus her pee is yellow, so it's normal hydration. It sounds like just regular potty mistakes. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is when does she have free access to water?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to stop that for one.
Okay.
And is she free fed?
Pardon?
Do you leave food all day, or do you feed her by meal?
No, I feed her in the morning, and then during the afternoon, I'll give her a little bit more all dry food. And then at 4 o'clock, I give her this dry food mixed with that blue can of buffalo food for
Mhm.
puppies.
Sure. How much does she eat in total for the day in cups?
I would say about 4.
Wow. Is she pooping a lot?
Yes.
Okay, you're overfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah. How much does she weigh?
She weighed 16 pounds, but now she's probably 30 something because she's doubled her weight, doubled her size since I got her.
Is there a way so I can see her real quick?
Shiloh, come here. Shiloh, come here. She's sleeping. Just a
Sure.
minute.
I just need to get a quick look at her.
God, don't wake her up. She's quiet.
Oh, hi, Shiloh.
I see Erin.
Oh, she's so cute.
Can you see her?
Okay, now could you? She's 3 months.
Can you see her, or did she step on the computer?
Yeah, I see her. She's big for 3 months.
I know. She's going to be a big girl, I'm afraid.
How many times a day?
Now I'm off again.
We see you.
We see you.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see you guys.
It might take a second to connect here.
You see us, Mom?
Nope. Should I hit that Zoom thing on the bottom again?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like the hat, Sean.
Thanks, man. Go Cubs.
Did
Is she back?
you get it, Mom?
Nope.
Let's see.
If you look at the bottom, Mom, there's a thing that says, well, no, you wouldn't have stopped video.
That's interesting.
Sean, fix it. You're an IT guy.
There we go.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
There you go. Okay. See you guys have
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, no problem.
He's on the floor. Way to go, Shiloh.
You peed?
Yes. Real funny. I'm going to send her to you, Aaron.
If you want to clean it real quick, you're more than welcome to. I mean,
Yeah, she's going to get walking in it.
because she was napping and we woke her up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aaron does that too. Don't worry about it.
I do not wet the floor.
When you wake up from naps,
No, I don't.
I just bonker.
This is everything.
Actually, Aaron, we should start bonking Keenan when he growls at us. Or it doesn't growl, he purrs at us.
How old is Keenan now?
How old?
Yeah.
6.
I worked with you guys when 14 then?
Yeah, 2015. Yeah, like because no, it was 2014 was the end. It was the end of 2000.
Sorry, I had to take care of my baby.
No, it was 2000. It was 2015
Okay.
because he was born in 2014. All right.
So this is going to be a bit of notes, but I'm going to post this up so you guys can always go back to rewatch it. Okay. So with potty training, first thing you want to do is control food and water intake. How many times a day would you say she poops?
In the morning, it's 2 times right when she gets up.
Okay.
And then probably 3 times the rest of the day.
So 5.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of poop.
So typically, it's the number of feedings plus 1 as a variable.
Okay.
So if you feed your dog 3 times, I'm expecting 3 to 4 poops. If you feed them 2 times, 2 to 3, 1 time, 1 to 2, right? So I think you may be overfeeding. If you look on your bag, it'll tell you, for a 30-pound, 3-month-old puppy, you see that? It should say how many cups a day.
Okay.
What's it say?
About 3.5 cups for a 10 to 20 pounds. She's more than that. About 4.5 cups for a 3-month-old.
Yeah, that still sounds like too much. So, unfortunately, I found that bags have been overfeeding dogs.
Okay.
Because the faster you use up that food, the faster you're buying another bag of food, right?
Right.
So at 30 pounds, 3 months, she's getting 4 cups, and that's including the wet food, or is that only dry food? 4 cups.
That's including the wet food at night feeding too.
Okay, so she didn't look to be overweight from what I saw.
No, she's not.
I would probably drop her down to 3 cups to 3.25 cups a day.
Okay.
And just keep an eye on her size. So her body, her rib cage should then dip a little bit at the waist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right now, from what I saw, she kind of looked kind of flat. But not terrible. But the number of poops, I'm thinking she's overeating. So I would try 3 cups to 3.25. And if you feel like she's losing weight, you just bump it 1/4.
Okay.
Okay, until you find the correct amount, and then she should be fine. And then when she gets a year, you're gonna have to change it again because their metabolism slows down, much like humans does. Okay, but for now, we'll try that out. And I would only give her water with each meal. And you said the last meal is at 4:00, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Do you mind pushing that to like 6?
I don't, but she probably will. I will.
The reason why I suggest that is so that you can give her water with that last meal, and then she'll be done with water for the day.
Okay.
Okay, because if you give her food and water at 4, then you got to give her water at 6 again. It's gonna. I'm trying to control how much she's getting so that we don't get any potty mistakes. Okay. The general rule for how much water a day is an ounce per pound. Okay, so she should be getting about 30 ounces of water a day. Now she may not drink all the 30 ounces. That's fine, but that's the general rule. Okay. So what I would do is 10 ounces of water with breakfast, 10 ounces with lunch, 10 ounces with dinner. And in this way, now that you're controlling the water intake and the time, it'll allow you to better control like the potty and all that stuff. Okay. Questions so far?
Excuse me.
Mom, does she drink out of the lake? My mom lives on a lake in Minnesota. Does she drink out of the lake?
Yep, she's at the lake. She drinks out of the lake. I got to get water.
Okay. Jesse, does it matter, like, about feeding them? Like, should you feed a puppy breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or is...
2 meals.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 meals until 6 months, and then I drop it to 2 meals, and then 1 meal at a year. Some people like to keep it at 2. It's personal preference.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Is it like, do you have to go anywhere for her to have access to the lake, or does she just, if you open the door, does she just go to the lake?
No, I usually, when we go for our walk, I'll take her down there and let her, because she loves to play in the water.
Sure.
Right in the backyard.
I never let her go down there alone. I'm always with her.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out. So, if you let her in the lake and she drinks all that water, I probably kennel her afterwards.
Okay.
Like, 'cause if she drinks a lot of water in the lake and she's running around, then you bring her back inside, like that's like prime potty mistake.
Yep.
So, so with the food and the water, we're gonna control. She only gets it at her meals. Once she's fully potty trained, she can have free access to water.
Okay.
Okay. And then Erin had just asked when you had stepped away. So 3 meals until she's 6 months. And then you can drop it down to 2 meals a day. And then at a year, I drop my dogs down to 1 time a day. You can feed her twice a day or whatever you'd like when she's potty trained. At that point, it doesn't matter. But that's the general rule for feedings for dogs.
Okay.
Okay. So now with the potty training stuff, when does your day start?
Started at 5:30 this morning. She's usually 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay. Now, is this her clock or is this your clock?
It's hers.
What time would you prefer to get up?
9 o'clock. No, about 8 at least. This is killing me.
What time do you go to sleep generally?
About 10, 11 o'clock.
Okay, and I'm assuming that's when her last potty break is?
Nope, she's in her kennel by 7 because by then I'm fried. She wears me out.
Yeah, that's fine. So she's in her kennel from 7 to then 6:30?
Yep.
Okay. So we might have to make a trade-off here.
Okay.
Maybe, we can always see how this works out. But so if you put her in her kennel at 7, does she get another outing before bed, or do you just leave her in the kennel till 6?
I just leave her in the kennel.
Okay. And does she have any potty mistakes?
Not in her kennel ever.
Perfect. Okay. So she's actually doing really well with that. Okay. So, because that's essentially 12 hours, right? Just shy of 12. It's about 11 hours.
That's what I can't figure out. I keep asking her, how can you hold it all night, but during the day, you're constantly peeing?
Because the first thing is dogs don't like to pee or poop where they eat and sleep, right? So like for humans, we have a bathroom separate from the kitchen, the living room. It's considered weird to take a plate of food into the bathroom. So it's the same thing for the dog. The good thing is your dog, your German Shepherd, has a very good denning instinct. Okay. most people struggle with pottying in the kennel until the dog develops this denning instinct. So you're actually ahead on that part.
Okay, good.
So I wouldn't expect her to hold it longer than that time frame if you kennel her at 7, because it's hitting 12 hours.
Yep.
So what I would do is if you're tired and you want to kennel her after 7, I think that's fine. But I would let her out to go potty just before bed.
Okay.
Okay. And I think that might buy you to the 8 to 9 o'clock, because we already know she can hold it for 11 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So if you add in that 10 o'clock potty break, that's going to buy you 3. So then, 10 to 8 would be 10 hours. So she should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think the problem you're going to struggle with is her body clock is trained on 6 to 6:30 now. Okay. So this means that she's most likely going to wake up and bark. Okay. I would suggest you just, if you're wanting to teach her to wait till 8 to 9, you ignore her. Okay. And if we anticipate the barking, I suggest moving the kennel somewhere in the home where she'll be the least audible. Okay. So this way you can sleep in and her barking doesn't wake you up, or you don't hear it ideally, or at least it's not that annoying. And you just let her do her thing. You come out 8 to 9 o'clock, you let her to go potty, you keep repeating that, and she should learn, okay, wake up at 6:30, a bark, but mom's not coming. And then you create the habit of, we go potty at 8 to 9 o'clock, not 6:30.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing is the pottying during the day. So it's easier for a puppy to hold their bladder or their bowel movements when they're inactive, so when they're sleeping in their kennel. Plus the kennel obviously helps because of the denning instinct. And if they do wake up and everything's turned off, they just go back to sleep. That's why they're able to hold it for longer during that time. But when she's up and active, it's much different. And if you just open, it looks like you have a sliding door there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you open that to let her go potty?
No, it's a deck, and she'll run down to the lake. So I always have her go potty in the backyard.
Gotcha.
I take her in a certain spot, the same spot every day.
Perfect. And is it on leash?
Yes, in the morning it is on leash.
Okay, good. So what we want to do then is we're just going to add a few rules here.
Okay.
So we're going to use 8 o'clock as an example. Technically, Shiloh can hold it for 3 hours. So the rule is an hour per month. So when they're 2 months, 2 hours, 3 months, 3 hours, 4 months, 4 hours, 5 months, 5 hours, so on and so forth, right? However, technically they can hold it for that long, but you have to teach them to hold it for that long. So I always start from the beginning at 2 hours. Okay. So I start a 2-hour schedule. So it starts at 8 o'clock, then the next one will be 10, then 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? So if I let Shiloh out at 8 o'clock, she pees and she poops. And I always watch the stream and stuff to make sure, like, does it look like you completely emptied? If it looks like she completely emptied, you can bring her back inside. She's then free. Okay, we're not expecting any potty mistakes because she's emptied herself. And her next outing wouldn't be until 10 o'clock. If you find, like, at 9:30, Shiloh's looking suspicious and she's like going to a particular spot in the house where she usually potties, or she's circling around, or maybe she's running to the door, giving you the sign of, I have to use the bathroom. Most people would take their dog out to go potty. I don't. I put them in the kennel. Okay, and I let them wait out that last bit before the next potty break. So if at 9:30 she's looking suspicious, I don't even try to give them the opportunity. I just throw them in the kennel, lock it. 10 o'clock, get my leash them up, run them to go potty. She pees. We know she doesn't have to poop. She can go back inside. She can have her freedom again. And I keep repeating that. Most people, they see the puppy and they go, oh, you have to potty? And they run them outside. And the puppy potties, right? And they're like, good. But the problem is you're teaching the puppy to potty when they have to potty and not teaching the puppy to hold it. Okay? And I had a client that did this, and her dog would only hold her potty for an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you try to get her to hold it for longer, because she had a back deck with a potty pad, and she would just open the deck, right? Super easy. But if you didn't have that easy accessibility and you wanted your dog to wait because you didn't want to run her outside, she'd have mistakes every 1.5 to 2 hours, right? Because she was never taught to hold it. So when you're putting her in for that last half an hour, she has to go maybe, but instead of going, she's going to have to hold it because she's not going to want to soil her kennel. So now you're putting the bladder on a timeline. And dogs are very good about schedules and habits. Like, she wakes up at 6 to 6:30 now, right? That's her clock. So 8 o'clock, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? Let's say you take her out the potty at 10 o'clock, but at 11 o'clock, if life was normal, you would go out and maybe go grocery shopping and be out for a few hours, right? You don't have to come back at 12. Because people always ask me that. I just tell them, if you took your puppy at 10 and you leave at 11, before you leave, run them out the potty, put them in their kennel, and go do your thing. If you're gone for 4 hours, 5 hours, you're gone. When you come back, if there's no potty mistake, perfect. Run the puppy out, they go potty, and then start your 2 hours at that time frame. So if you come back at 5, your clock would start at 5. 5, 7, 9, and before bed.
Okay.
Because a lot of people ask, like, do I have to come back every 2 hours to let my dog out the potty? And I'm like, no. Live your life, come back. If there is a potty mistake, you don't get angry. You just leash her up, run her out again, see if she goes, clean her up, clean up the kennel, and then start your clock. Okay? And then what we want to do is expand this 2 hour schedule little by little. Okay? I have 2 ways of doing this. If you start this week, you would be on a 2 hour schedule anytime that you're home with Shiloh and she's out and being active. We do that for a week. And then the next week, what I like to do is then expand it 15 minutes. Okay, so then it's every 2 hours and 15 minutes. Then the next week, 15 minutes. So it's every 2.5 hours. And then another 15 minutes. And then another. And then it's every 3 hours, right? So it's very incremental. But it's easier to adjust the puppy that way. So if you get a puppy at 2 months, exactly 2 months, and it's 2 hours, and you increase 15 minutes each week, at the age of 3 months, they're then at 3 hours. So it falls right in line with their growth process. Okay. And it's easier to do it that way because it's not such a big jump. So it's tedious, but it's I think for the puppy, it's easier. The other way would be to do 2 hours for 4 weeks. And then at the 4th week, you go to 3 hours. And every 4 weeks, you jump an hour. Okay. So that one's easier. The only problem with that one is, since it is a big jump in time, people tend to struggle in between that time frame. So they'll usually say, like, my puppy's having potty mistakes, right? So then I'll tell them, you're expecting. Remember, you have to keep an eye on her. So even though you're expanding the time to 3 hours, doesn't mean she's going to hold it for 3 hours, right? So let's say at 2.5 hours, she looks like she's got a potty. You pop her in the kennel. She waits a half an hour, and then you run her to potty. Okay, so those are both the 2 options I always present. You just pick and choose what works best for you, okay?
Okay.
I don't put any food or water in the kennel unless it's a mealtime. But I do how is she in the kennel? Does she cry or anything, or is she fine?
She cries when she wants out in the morning. She doesn't bark at all. She just whines.
Okay, and is that the only time that she barks or she whines in the kennel?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think you're fine. What I would suggest, though, is, do you feed her out, like, in the kitchen or something?
Feed her in my laundry room.
Okay, feed her in the kennel.
Okay.
Okay, it's just to add some positive to it. Also, I know she hasn't had any accidents in the kennel, but it's to help to add into that whole, they don't want to pee or poop where they eat and sleep. So it's not only where she sleeps, it's also where she eats.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see here. So we got the schedule. You're already taking her out to the same spot. I suggest that when you see her looking like she's going to potty, you say the phrase "go potty" or whatever phrase you want to use.
Yep.
I had a client that used to say taser because they never used the word taser because they had kids running around, so they didn't want to say potty and the dog potty in the home. So you pick your phrase, and when you see her like circling around, you can say "go potty," and I'll repeat it. And it's like the only time I really repeat commands. And then when she does go, good girl, right when she finishes, you give her a piece of food or treat to reward her. And in this way, come the winter time, you don't want to be out there waiting for a long time. You have this phrase, and it's not going to make her go like that, but it's going to speed up the process.
Yeah.
It'll get the body going. Okay?
Okay.
Questions so far with the potty training?
Nope. Just got to get it under control.
Let me see here. Yeah, anytime you see her, like, let's say you're sitting on the couch and she's sleeping next to you and she gets up, like, I would assume she's going to have a potty mistake. Just pop her in the kennel. So, like, right now when we woke her up from that nap, that's prime potty mistake time. When puppies, so after waking up from a nap, after eating a meal, generally 15 or 30 minutes after, during play. So if you did allow play in the home and she's like running around or whatever, about 10 to 15 minutes in, typically puppies will stop to pee and then they'll start running around again.
Okay.
If you take her out for a walk or play, I would make sure to give her a potty break before. So because all that high activity and running around and stuff gets the body going. And then you bring her inside and she's like, oh crap, I gotta pee. And then she goes when she's set. Okay. So that's why I said when you take her out, if she goes to the lake, when you come inside, I would probably just kennel her for like an hour.
Okay.
And then run her out to go potty. So she pees out whatever she drank from the lake and she should be clear.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions?
Not that I can think of. I got a lot here to work on.
That's how it always is with Jessie.
And this is pretty. Once again, the correctional stuff is, I think, going to be what's probably going to be the most work. The potty training, it's really just schedule.
Okay.
And then if you want to make a little printout with a checklist or whatever, I've had clients put just a bunch of alarms on their phones, and you just adjust it during your day. With the behavior stuff, all the puppy people that we're getting right now, I'm telling them, don't even worry really so much about obedience, because that can always be taught at any age. I've worked with dogs at 6 years old, 0 training, and they learn to be off leash and they get the same level of training that I would have done when they were 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. Right now, it's all about definitely the discipline, correcting the behaviors like you have been, okay? And then if you find you're having issues still with the Bonker and the Prong collar, did you keep your e-collar?
Oh, yeah. I've got it.
So it's not that you can't use it, okay? It's that typically most people are uncomfortable with it. They're uncomfortable with it even with adult dogs. So when it comes to puppies, they tend to be even more kind of anti-e-collar. But I've worked with puppies as young as 2 months. It's perfectly safe to use, but it's a little bit more nuanced, okay? So I would try the Prong and Bonker first.
Okay.
If you should see progress, it's not going to be overnight, right? But as long as you see progress, you just keep going with it, okay? Now you might find that you hit like a plateau. And then, there's maybe a particular behavior that she doesn't want to give up, or maybe, she's really persistent on waking up at 6 or 6:30 in the morning and, she's barking. Like, you can correct that as well with the Bonker. Then we start to think about other means of addressing things. Okay. Do you have any questions, Erin?
No, I have 4 pages of notes. So,
I got a bunch here too.
yeah.
And I'll post this up, so if you miss anything, it'll be up on YouTube. And I'm going to send the links for the 3 videos about the Bonker. It's really intuitive. When it comes to aversives, it's really just something the dog doesn't like when they do something that you don't like.
Okay.
You know, so like if I didn't do my homework, if I didn't clean my room, if I talked back to my mom, or did something I wasn't supposed to, I was spanked. Right? One consequence for a multitude of behaviors. Same thing for the dog. Okay? So just pick and choose your, and lists are really helpful. Pick and choose what you like, what you don't like, and correct what you don't want.
Okay.
Okay? Anything else?
I think so.
Not that I can think of. I got lots of papers here to work on. Because
So-
she's been a challenge.
So during this week, try this stuff out and definitely stick with an approach. Don't shift day to day.
Okay.
Okay. So like if you go for the leash and she like starts to bark at you and you use the bonker, let's say it doesn't work the first couple of times you use it because you have to like develop the skill. Give it a few days. Okay. And then if you feel like, no, I really tried it, then we'll go over other approaches as well. And then also during the week, if anything occurs to you, any questions you might have, I always suggest writing them down because people always forget once it comes to the training session.
Yeah.
This way you have your list of questions and we can just get through everything.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Awesome.
Thank
So,
you, Jesse.
yep. I'll send you an email with both you and your mom with all the links. And then if you have any questions, just feel free to reply to it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. It was a
Okay.
pleasure meeting everybody. Nice seeing you. Bye, Sean.
All right.
Bye, Denise.
Bye. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Thank you.